dermatology residency at UP-PGH or UP Philippine General Hospital. So let us give a round of applause for Dr. Macy Masman.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Stay here. Okay. So yeah, hi, I'm Doc M. You can just call me Doc M. I'm the Assistant Medical Director of LUMINISCE, and so previously Doc Casey talked about jugular Dermablate. For today, I'm going to be talking about our newest laser offering, which is Dermablate laser. So Dermablate is a 6th generation of erbium YAG laser. It has a wavelength of 2,940 nanometers. It's chromophores water. The water in the skin is what it targets. And this one is from Vienna, Germany. So it's German made. This laser has more than 10,000 users around the world and has already treated more than 5 million patients. So it can target a variety of skin concerns, such as acne scars, specifically atrophic acne scarring, the ones where if you get like a dent or a depression. It can also target fine wrinkles, so just to minimize the fine wrinkles, make them less visible. You can also target prominent pores, make them look tighter. And epidermal and dermal lesions, we can also get rid of those, such as warts, so as shown. Other examples would be your seborrheic keratosis, which would look like this. They're stuck on lesions, parang naka-sticker, usually in some exposed areas, on the face, on the back, chest. We can also get rid of syringomas. These are very common in Asians and women around the eye area. And sebaceous hyperplasia, just to name a few. But that's just a few of the lesions that it can get rid of. So, Dermablate allows for the ablations to be done at a very precise level. You can measure the ablation level or depth in micrometers. That's how precise it is. And this makes it very safe because you ablate very safely, very slowly but surely, and very effective. So just to show you a quick video to demonstrate. So the ablation is very precise, and it's at specific levels into the skin, which makes it safe. You're not gonna hit any nerve or artery that's dangerous. So immediately you get rid of the lesions, as you can see. It's a powerful laser, but at the same time it's safe. So the pulse length is adjustable, and there's a thermal mode, and this helps with coagulation and mitigation of bleeding. So sometimes there's pinpoint bleeding when you reach the level of the dermis, we call the reticular dermis, but not an issue with Dermablate. We can control that thanks to the pulse length, which is adjustable in the thermal mode. Discomfort is minimal with this laser, so you can easily manage that with topical anesthesia and with post-cooling. So there are 2 modes to this laser. There's an ablative mode, which will do a full skin resurfacing, where and the other one is your fractional mode, wherein you just target fractions of the skin. So to illustrate further what they're for, the ablation mode is for removal of the dermal and epidermal lesions like the warts, the seborrheic keratosis, the sunspots, and it does a full skin resurfacing. So in contrast to the other mode, which is fractional mode, this one is more for acne scars, to uplift the basis of the acne scars and to minimize the fine wrinkles. So what happens here is that you only target fractions of the skin surface as shown. So there are islands of untreated skin, of normal skin, which are left behind, and this supports the quicker recovery, quicker healing. So with the fractional mode, downtime is much shorter. So before, we used a lot of the fractional CO2 lasers. I don't know if you're familiar with the carbon dioxide lasers. We used a lot of those for resurfacing concerns in general, like fine lines, acne scars. And while it's effective, it's good, some patients still can get around the significant downtime that it has. So usually you would see there are noticeable grid marks, there will be bleeding, scabbing, scaling, and these lasts for 1 to 2 weeks. So that's quite a long time for most patients who have a very busy schedule and an on-the-go lifestyle and can't afford to have that kind of downtime. So the Dermablate surpasses this. It's effective, it's safe, and it has minimal downtime. The downtime will differ from between the two modes. The fractional mode, you'd have a bit of redness for a few hours and faint grid marks which could last for 3 to 5 days only. These are compared to the carbon dioxide laser, the grid marks are very faint, can't even be covered with makeup. And for the ablative mode, this is the one where you get rid of the dermal and epidermal lesions like warts. There's gonna be scabbing for 5 to 7 days. But the scabbing is just focal, like where you targeted, that's where you get the scabbing. And aside from this, Dermablate is a very quick procedure. It only takes around 30 to 45 minutes for a session. You can do it every 3 to 4 weeks. And the recommended sessions is around 6 to 8 sessions. But with 2 to 3 sessions, you'll already see significant effect with this laser. So I just wanted to show you some cases that we treated so that you appreciate its effect. So this is a 35-year-old male with atrophic acne scars, mostly rolling in boxcar scars. So we treated him with a Dermablate fractional mode, and we used a soft peel for the whole face and E10 settings for the scars and the pores. And as you can see, so the after photo was taken 2 weeks after the treatment, and there's overall improvement of the skin texture and the tone, and also we see some pore lightening already. And of course, the atrophic acne scars have improved, like here. The bases of the scars have uplifted, they're much shallower already. That's just with one session. So it can still improve with more sessions. So another case that we treated, this is also a case of atrophic acne scars. 27-year-old male, and we also did a Dermablate fractional. This one, we did 2 sessions. So there's noticeable uplifting of the atrophic acne scar bases, and overall, there's improved tone and evenness of the skin. Now for the focal ablative mode, we did this case of a sebaceous hyperplasia, as you can see. So sebaceous hyperplasia will look like this, very common in the T-zone, very common in oily skin. So what happens here is that the sebaceous gland, the oil gland, the top part would bulk up and would form a bump on the skin. So we see it as this. So to get rid of that, we can do electrocautery, a number of destructive methods, but this one works better, safer pa, kasi it's a cleaner ablation. The scabbing will look like this. 3 days post-treatment and 2 weeks post-treatment, as you can see, the contour of the nose is better, it's smoother, we got rid of the sebaceous hyperplasia. So just to summarize, Dermablate is an erbium YAG laser. It's highly effective in ablation of epidermal and dermal lesions, the benign growths like warts, sunspots. You can also use it for resurfacing of acne scars, fine wrinkles, and it's safe, it's effective, and it's available here in LUMINISCE already. Okay? Alright, I think that's the end of my slides. Does anybody have any questions about Dermablate?
How much on it?
For Dermablate, the treatment ranges, it depends on the assessment, but it would range from 6,000 to 10,000 per session.
How long is the session?
Around 30 to 45 minutes for a session.
This is the same as what others have. I'm not sure.
That's different po, no? Red light, it's a pigment laser. It's a Q-switch and the laser targets pigments. But this one, it's a fractional laser. It's an erbium laser, different from yung crystal niya. So the red light is ND laser. That's the crystal of the laser medium. This one, erbium Oo. Different also the indication. So we use this more for removal of the benign growths and mga resurfacing of acne scars and fine lines.
Dok, anong difference with Pico naman? Pico.
Plus. Pico Plus, right? So we also have that, no? Pico Plus, that one naman, it's a Pico second laser. The time it takes for the laser to reach the peak energy is very quick pagka picosecond laser. And that one can do a lot of things, Pico Plus, kasi it has 5 hand pieces. Each hand piece will target a different concern. So for Pico Plus, it can also target scars, acne scars, no, with a fractional mode. But I don't think Pico can do the ablative of this, the removal of warts. Oo, mas kaya niya ito because this one targets water in the skin. That's the chromophore of the laser and that's how it destroys the benign growths.
For example, for maintenance, so yung interval niya is how long?
You can do this, for example, for maintenance, you want resurfacing, improve texture, tightening of pores. You can do it every 3 to 4 weeks. Downtime would be like the faint grid marks for 1 to 3 days. Yeah,
This is the ablative.
This is the fractional.
Fractional.
Yes, the fractional mode. We do the fractional mode for the fine lines, for the pores. Yes. It's okay. Actually, if you guys want to try, we can also do it today. It's very quick procedure. We can do like a soft peel, not just a gentle resurfacing. Yeah, we can do that today if anybody wants to try.
Specific focus of these can be used for other parts of the body.
Can also be used for the body. Just that, syempre, for the body, when we target it, healing is different in different parts of the body. So the face actually very quick on healing. Body medyo mas mabagal. So different settings po. But yes, we use it for the body. Yes,
Is this better than cauterizing words?
The advantage of this versus, for example, cauterizing warts is that there's lesser chance of getting the pigmentations. So sometimes when you do the cautery, I don't know if you encounter cases, no? You get like white spots or brown spots. These are pigmentations, no, post-inflammatory pigmentations. With this laser, the risk of that is much lower because your ablations are very precise, very safe levels, depths. With cautery, the depth is dependent on the operator. But this one, you said it. So healing actually is better also with this laser versus if you do electrocautery.
What are the preparations before undergoing this procedure? Wala na.
In terms of topical, yes, there is.
But pwede din na wala.
Pwede
With the
din wala.
tolerance for pain.
Oo. But here, well, we may protocol na meron. Pero technically, pwede mong wala. Oo, can be na wala. Versus halimbawa CO2 laser, hindi pwede wala. Kailangan meron. Ito po, okay lang na wala. But for safety and for better comfort, maganda may topical and lang. Okay.
So thank you so much, Doc Marcy, for helping us understand how Dermablate can solve our skin concerns. So now may we call back Dr. Lacey to answer some of your questions about Dermablate.
Dermablate.
Dermablate and Orvolite.
You have questions ha? For Volay? Ay! Go ahead.
Doc, pwede bang may possibility bang pagkasabay yung dalawang Dermablate procedure?
To be honest, better if 2 weeks apart. Because even if it's cross-linked, the fillers, it can, since the injection technique is intradermal, deep intradermal, ibig sabihin, just below the skin, it might be targeted by the laser lights. But some fillers, sometimes the volumizing fillers, like jugular voluma, we inject it above the bone to lift, to put foundation. So we can combine that with Dermablate kasi it cannot be targeted by the laser beams. But for this, the depth of injection is medyo superficial, so might not be on the same day, better. We're targeting the same area kasi.
So Doc, for the Volite, we know that the results may last up to 9 months.
9 months.
So is there a way that we can keep the results for longer?
Yes, especially if you put topical antioxidant to the face, like topical vitamin C, at least 15 to 20% twice a day. And then of course, your environment. If you're not into heavy or vigorous exercise, or heavy sun exposure, or pollution, or less stress in the environment. So it will stay longer. But right now, we're all very stressed. So we inject every 6 to 9 months.
So as you know, Doc Casey and Luminis in general is trusted by so many vloggers, influencers,
we have questions pa.
bloggers.
Yes.
Speaking of
Hello.
influencers.
Yeah, one of my questions is, you have to be a certain age to do Volite, or is it based on your skin condition talaga? Like you can be young and do
Yes.
Volite.
Because some people, they have genetic problems, especially atopic dermatitis. They have this variation in their gene, especially the filaggrin gene, which make them more susceptible to irritation. So, mas dry. So, that's genetic. So, lagi silang walang epidermal barrier function. So, we can inject Volite to this patient to hydrate the skin. So, atopic dermatitis as young as newborn or years old. Pero syempre, we told it. Right now, probably it depends on the assessment of the doctor. But yes, we can inject that to atopic dermatitis, seborrheic dermatitis patient, or even patient who have this more prone to dryness. Kasi this patient, when they get older, they will have hand eczema, which is a byproduct of dermatitis.
Ito kahit teens na pwede.
Oh naman. The youngest that I give for Volite, 16 years old, with dermatitis.
We have another question from Mrs.
Let's think.
Okay. So yes, Doc Casey, so as you know, we're all bloggers, editors. We lead a very stressful life.
Yeah.
If there is one skin advice that you can give us in time for the holiday season, what skin advice would that be?
Visit LUMINISCE. So let's make an appointment with AJ so we can treat you. Kasi better with assessment eh. But the best, what you can do at home is apply topical antioxidant, which is vitamin C, which is different from oral vitamin C. Oral vitamin C is for longevity and for immunity. But if you want something for the skin for brightening, at the same time anti-aging, that's the topical vitamin C. And then use the moisturizer, the best moisturizer for you. The best moisturizer for me might not be the best moisturizer for you. So that's very important. And then, syempre, lessen the negatives like smoking, late nights, and then stress, which is how you manage stress. I don't think we can lessen stress.
Manage na.
Yes, that's very important because we also have this integral stress test in the clinic where we measure the stress hormones and the brain hormones, just to evaluate yung level of anxiety and stress. And also we measure the heart rate variability, which reflective of your brain waves. And then at the same time, we monitor your 3-day activity. And then we study, we consolidate everything. And from there, we'll tell you if the level of stress and then anxiety, if you have depression. This is the German way of evaluating stress. And then we give herbal medicines that can replace the psychiatric medicine, because psychiatric medicine, they have side effects. And very important, syempre, counseling and the practice of mindfulness.
So thank you so much to our skin experts, Doc Casey and Doc Nicey.